Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
And welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on WKYC Channel 3. We're thrilled to be back after the exciting coverage of the Olympics for the last 3 weeks, and we're ready to talk Cleveland sports with you. Are the Cleveland Browns likely to stay at 6 when it comes to the draft in April, or are they more likely to trade down and add more picks to the resume? We'll get to that today. Jason.
Why do they have to go down? Why can't they go up?
Oh,
we know they aren't going up.
No, they're not.
Analytical teams don't go up. I'm Jason Lloyd. Jaylen Tyson was recently put on a top 10 list of most underrated players in the NBA by Bleacher Report. Was he too high, too low, or just right? We're going to talk about it.
G. Bush, leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia, and you know what it is? It's Kool-Aid season. The NFL Combine is coming around, and there's some risers. Is there anything that we could see that possibly could change our minds on guys from college by what they do in the Combine? We'll talk about it next. McNuggets.
Tarik Skubal may be the best pitcher in the world, and he's pitching for Team USA, but not enough. And I have a big issue with that, and we'll dive in.
Yeah, you're wrong.
And we'll tell Mike why he's wrong.
Yeah, but he's out of his mind.
You guys can try.
And it's not he might be the best pitcher. He is the best pitcher.
And it's not that you might be wrong. You are wrong.
That's correct.
I am right on both accounts. But we start with the Cleveland Browns. We'll dive into Skubal and stuff in a little bit. But Mary Kay Cabot, friend of the program, reported at the NFL Combine that Andrew Berry and the Browns are entertaining offers to move back from number 6, and if the right deal is on the table, they would consider dropping back from the 6th overall pick, which is where they currently sit, to a further down first-round pick, plus getting the other assets, similar to what they did last year. Bull, if you had to make a prediction today, the end of February, will the Browns make a pick at number 6, or will they end up moving back and/or forward with a deal?
I think they will try to move back. The question is, will somebody be willing to trade up? I think I've said all along, I think it's a possibility with Cincinnati, although an in-division trade of first-round picks is probably unlikely. I think it's a possibility with Dallas. Dallas, like Cincinnati, is desperate for upgrades on defense. So I think it's possible. The Browns appear to be in a spot in this draft where they need offense. It's such a priority, and yet maybe the best players to take are on defense. So we'll see what happens, but we know the Browns have a history, including last year, of trading down with first-round picks. So I think it's a very realistic possibility. And the idea that they're open to it, of course they're open to it. Every team's open to it in the right trade.
That is standard Combine chatter.
Yes, 100%.
Standard pre-draft chatter.
What do you think Andrew Berry's going to say? No, we will not trade down no matter what.
We are staying right where we are.
Yeah.
It depends on how the board falls them as whether or not they do.
Yeah.
I think there's an excellent chance that they trade down, actually. I don't know that you're going to get the value that they got last year. I was shocked. Like, I've been consistent for a year. They knocked it out of the park to move down 3 spots when there's not a quarterback involved. And you would think, again, this year, a team coming up is not coming up to take a quarterback. So who are they coming to get, and how much are they willing to pay for it?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get a 27 first. I think that draft is too stocked. I don't think teams are going to be eager to move off of those picks. But if there's something that you can do to make sense, there are so many holes on this roster that, I would totally entertain the idea, absolutely, of moving down. But it's got to be, obviously you got to pay the price to make it worth it.
Yeah, for me, it goes to, it's about where the board is. When you talk about if you're going to make a good trade to move down and get assets, you got to have somebody people covet. There's some names at the top of the list, and whether it's Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles looks like his name is rising. You got Bailey, you got Ruben Bain. There's a lot of defenders that people like, and it's a thin tackle class. So if somebody really wants to get up and get one of these guys, you need to be able to put yourself in a position that I'm going to trade back, but I still need one of these three players. If you like one of three players, Carnell Tate, Jaylon Tyson, or Mekhi Lemon, and you can get one of those guys and without missing out on one of those dudes, and you can trade back, by all means, go ahead and make that move. But it all depends on who you got, where the board falls, and if you look at it, I told people last year, I said if they trade this pick, they had Travis Hunter on the board, they traded back and got Mason Graham. It's a little too risky for me. No predictions for G. Bush this year. Andrew Berry could do anything he wants. He might trade back into the third round. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do, but there is a good chance that they could trade that pick. It's just all depends on what is available and what team they can get out of it.
And what, like you said, Jason, I think teams are going to be very hesitant to give up a 2027 first-round pick.
Yes.
And no team, like the Browns are not going to, I don't see them trading too far down. Like the teams I mentioned, Cincinnati and Dallas are at 10 and 12, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, that's not a huge drop. They're not getting a first-round pick going down from 6 to 10 or 12. Could they get a second-round pick? Could they get a second-round pick in next year's draft? Yeah, probably. But at some point, they got to decide, well, is it worth it? But ultimately, if you think like you said, it depends how the board falls. Because if you're picking 6 and you're like, well, we have 4 guys we really like, we can go down to 10 and get one of them anyway.
Right.
We might as well get something. We might as well get something extra and get the same guy we want to get.
That's exactly.
In theory. I mean, I don't know if it's that simple.
Would you duplicate the Julio Jones trade if it allowed you to get a first in the following? I don't remember now. I should look this up.
Yeah.
They went from around 6 to around the 20s, somewhere in the 20s.
Well, that would get him a first rounder next year.
Yes. Would you do that if it got you an extra one?
Yes.
I would.
Yes. It then goes to the evaluation that you do 2 years prior.
Yeah.
So now it goes to the evaluation that you have in this class next year.
And again, I'm not just about quarterback. Everybody, the consensus, again, with a grain of salt, is that next year's draft is loaded everywhere. It's going to be an all-time draft. What's that?
The Julio Jones trade, real quick.
Yeah.
It was the 6th pick, which turned into Julio Jones.
There you go.
In exchange for 27. So they went from 6 to 27.
They get Alex Mack with that pick?
Phil Taylor.
Oh, Phil Taylor.
A second-round pick in 2011, which turned into Greg Little. A fourth-round pick, which turned into fullback Owen Marisic.
Marisic.
A first-round pick the following year, which was Brandon Whedon.
Boy.
And then a fourth-round pick that was used in a trade for Trent Richardson.
All right, listen. I'm talking the picks, not the players.
McNuggets just said, listen, you just hurt my heart. I was trying to forget these folks.
Phil Taylor was all right for a little while.
He was decent. He had injuries. But, I mean, Julio Jones was a Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I mean the pick haul more than
they got two
first.
They got 2 first-round picks as you exchange.
Well,
you'd have 2 picks in the first round this year and 2 picks next year.
Yes.
The question is, does Andrew Berry have time? Because
That's a great question.
Does he have time to think that long?
I mean,
if he hits on his picks,
if Jimmy Haslam loves him that much that he kept him his job after this year, I don't know.
AB, this is like Kevin Stefanski. Don't believe that.
Yeah, right.
Don't you believe that?
All right. So
in that same vein, Bull.
Yeah.
Let's say, for the sake of this next conversation, the Browns do stay at number 6. The NFL Combine is going on. We saw some people work out yesterday, linebackers, defensive ends, the quarterbacks and receivers working out today, offensive linemen on Saturday. A player like Sonny Styles from the great Ohio State University put up an absolutely ridiculous workout yesterday. One of the best RAS scores ever seen. A perfect 10 out of 10.
Nobody even knows what an RAS score is, Mike. What are you talking about?
It is your overall relative athletic score, Bull,
Yes.
which is something that teams use to look at the general profile of a player.
Yeah.
He tested through the roof. He essentially solidified himself as a top 12 at worst kind of first-round pick. G, do you think there's anything that could happen in the Combine this weekend? Whether it be a workout like Sonny Styles, another player has an incredible workout that could change the Browns' plans at number 6, mainly into maybe taking a defensive player with their first selection?
No. I think Andrew Berry spoke and he talked about the way they value it. The most important thing is the medical. The medical is going to tell you and dig in the weeds and see if there's anything that would prohibit you from taking a player at a certain spot. the work has already been done in the fall. The work has already been done as far as the tape goes. And now this process is just digging into the medical and the people that have been around him, his coaches, his people, high school, trying to figure out what the character of the player is and what his mental makeup is. And basically in 30 minutes, it didn't get an opportunity to put him on a whiteboard. You're not going to learn too much. Sonny Styles was a good football player. Arvell Reese was a very good football player. You could watch those guys and say, wow, these dudes are fast. Ohio State has a good defense, right? So those times are not just confirming what we already knew. Like, he's going to run 4.4. He's going to jump 40 inches. Yeah. I think the tape has to do with it. Now, the medical can take you off the list.
Yeah.
But it won't bring you to a point where somebody overdrafts you.
Guys, only poorly run teams and bad GMs make decisions based on a workout. Now, medical, yes. Something in the interview process, yes. Yeah. If you're moving a guy up or down your board based on a workout, to me, you don't know what you're doing. Now, the Browns usually don't know what they're doing, so I think it's entirely possible that they could screw it up. But hopefully, if they're doing things properly, like if you didn't think Sonny Styles was a great player, well, you're going to take him now because he's great. You didn't realize he was a great athlete already?
Right. Yeah, it was very evident.
I mean, come on. So I think, again, that's what bad organizations do. That's when we see crazy picks in the draft, and we all know the history of these workout warriors that have disappointed.
Is there examples? I'm honestly asking this. I can't think of one of guys who shut up because of combine who actually lived up to it.
No,
Calvin Johnson.
Now we don't know.
But Calvin was a top player.
But we don't know that these guys really moved up because of that.
Right.
Remember,
but there are like workout darlings.
The guys that you know of:
John Ross,
LeVar Arrington,
Darius Hayward-Bay,
the Campbell dude from Maryland, that the Raiders drafted.
Darius Hayward-Bay, yeah.
Vernon Davis was a workout.
Not LeVar Harrington. Sorry, Vernon Golston.
Vernon Golston.
His arms were like smothered.
Yeah, right.
Vernon Davis was a workout warrior.
I
remember Mike Mamula from back in the day.
Oh,
was a guy who shot up charts. Yep. But who of them?
None of them are any good.
So, I mean, the things that to me would impact on Combine Weekend are your interviews, who you sit with, who you talk to. That has a huge impact on what teams think.
As fans, we only see on the field.
You only see how fast they're running.
But that's not the important part of this process.
The important part is the in-person interviews and the medicals.
And to their credit, the fact that they picked Carson Schlesinger, I don't know how y'all did that. Like, this dude wasn't even on nobody's radar. And they looked at his tape and said, oh, we feel like this guy could be good. There's a lot of people like that may not run fast, may not jump as high, but they're going to go in the league and they're going to be a hit because somebody said, hey, he's a good football player. Case in point, Harold Fanning Jr. I mean, he's from Bowling Green. Like most people would say, how'd you guys pick this guy out of any of the other people? But, this just kind of confirms what you see on tape. Now, if you get a guy who is not as fast as you think, you may want to go back to the tape and say, let me see, like, does he have upside? Does he have, if I want a deep threat, is he going to be able to have long speed in the NFL if he runs a very slow time? But then again, Jarvis Landry ran like a 4.7 and turned out to be just fine.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's Jaylon Tyson on your screen. He's had a magnificent sophomore season where he's broken out. But where does he rank amongst the most underrated players in the NBA? That's coming up next on Channel 3 WKYC. All right, welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on WKYC Channel 3. Guys, Jaylon Tyson's had a great second year in the NBA. He's really broken out. He was a starter for part of the season. He's back on the bench now with the team beat. Well, although with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden banged up, who knows? But my Bleacher Report released a list of the top 10 most underrated players in the league, and he's on this list. But let's see what we think about it as a whole.
He is. Let's run through the list. Their number one most underrated player is Milwaukee Bucks point guard Ryan Rollins, followed by Nickeil Walker-Alexander, A.J. Mitchell of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Peyton Watson of the Nuggets, and Tumani Kamara of the Blazers are your 1 through 5. Next up, you have Ty Jerome, former friend of the program.
He hasn't played,
number
right?
6. No, he's played the last 12 games. He's been very good.
Okay.
In Memphis, they have Josh Hart at 7, Aaron Gordon at 8, Jaylen Tyson at 9, and Najee Marshall at 10. Bull, I see the face you're making, and my face was very similar
With
when
Josh
I saw
Hart.
this list.
Yes?
Like the Knicks' Josh Hart.
Yeah. Well, how's he underrated?
That's my issue with this list.
I don't even think he should be on the list.
Nobody from New York should ever be on an underrated list ever. Ever.
He's actually perfectly rated.
Yeah, I mean, he's highly thought of. I mean, all those guys, like we wouldn't know Jaylen, or I wouldn't know Jaylen Tyson if he played for another team.
Right.
You know, I on that list, the guys that I've heard of, I'll be totally honest. Go ahead. I've heard of Ryan Rollins. I don't know how. The rest of the top 5, I've never heard of.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Okay.
And 6 through 10, I think I know all those guys. No, I don't know Najee Marshall.
Because I tried to make him a Cavs trade candidate.
Najee Marshall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted the Cavs to trade for him.
So obviously I know 6 through 9. Ty Jerome shouldn't be on the list. He's barely played this year.
Aaron Gordon, I mean, we know exactly.
Yeah, he's not underrated.
He's not underrated either?
No, that was my issue with the list, and I'll toss it back to you guys.
Yeah.
I just looked up. Aaron Gordon's made $181 million in his career.
Yeah.
He is on
so it was Gordon that you were apoplectic about, not Josh Hart?
Oh, it's a
Both?
couple of these guys. They have guys that I just don't think are considered underrated. We know Josh Hart is a very good role player.
Yeah.
He's been the same player for 4, 5, 6 years now. There's nothing wrong with Josh Hart. I want Josh Hart on my team, but he's not underrated. Aaron Gordon was the second best player on the Nuggets title team a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Third best player behind
Yeah.
Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. He's
I
on
guess
a
it depends.
everybody
looks it up.
deal.
And by the way, Ty Jerome was one of the biggest stories in the NBA last
It was
year.
6
know.
man.
Yes.
But
how can you be
here's the
underrated?
thing. Like, if this guy, whoever made this list, believes that, Josh Gordon, that Aaron Gordon and Josh Hart are, we know them, but they should even be getting more love. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you think a guy's underrated, he's.
I just think it's a problem with your titles.
Yeah.
If you
People could argue LeBron James is underrated. You can make that argument if you
He
wanted.
could have said no-name gangsters that you should get to know.
Yeah.
And be like, look, oh, okay, I didn't know this guy.
I think that's why it looks weird, because the rest of the guys are kind of mostly obscure. Besides those two,
like he should go. He should have just went with guys that are very obscure names that you may not want. The description you just said, if he wasn't playing for your team, would you know who it is?
Those are the only 2 guys that probably a casual fan would know.
Yeah. So, question to bring it back to Cleveland with Jaylen Tyson.
Yeah.
Would you still consider him underrated? Obviously, on a national scale, yes.
I don't think anybody's talking about him. I don't know. I don't watch, any of the national shows, so maybe I'm not a good person to ask. I don't know if you guys do, but is Jaylen Tyson like when they're talking about the Cavs on one of those shows on ESPN, did they ever mention Jaylen Tyson?
For him to get that off, he needs to be a guy that in the playoffs he comes up and he's averaging 18 points in a series. And they look around and say Donovan's averaging maybe 20, Harden's getting you 19, 20.
Yeah.
And then instead of Evan Mobley getting, 20 or 21, Mobley may average 13 or 14. And then Jaylen Tyson picks up the slack. And then they'll say, Charles and Kenny will say, well, this Jaylen Tyson guy, I mean, this guy is, we got to get to know him. This guy is a good shooter. He can play defense. We like him. I think he has to do it on a bigger stage. And then they'll say, oh, okay, who's this dude?
And by the way, to defend the list, I think Jose Ramirez is underrated, and he's one of the best players in baseball.
I think Nikola Jokic is underrated. I think he's the best player in the NBA.
Okay, so you can't really kill him for...
Those 2 don't belong with the rest. I had an issue with how they saturated
Right, it
the
doesn't
list.
fit with the rest of the tenor of the rest of the list.
And in terms of Jaylen Tyson specifically, then Jason, I want you to weigh in on this. Tyson has had an incredible breakout season after barely playing as a rookie. Like, he did not play meaningful minutes as a rookie, basically whatsoever. Comes in, does everything he's been asked to do, and what makes him underrated is look at that three-point shooting percentage. He was not a sniper coming out of college. He was a guy that off the dribble could make a couple shots, but was not projected as a legitimate three-point sniper. That part of his game, I think, has already exceeded what the Cavs thought his cap was, and that has made him an incredible, valuable part to what they've done this year. So I do think he's still underrated in the big picture.
Yeah, he definitely belongs on the list. He probably belongs higher, and I would put him over all those names that we just mentioned. I think he's a really strong candidate for most improved player this year. I think Ryan Rollins is also a really good candidate for that. But Jaylen's been a great story in the NBA this year.
And where would you have had him on the list, Mike?
I would have taken Josh Hart off the list. I would have taken Aaron Gordon off the list. I would have taken Nickeil Walker-Alexander off the list, frankly. He signed a 4-year, $88 million deal. I think once you sign a $20 million contract.
Well, you just said Jokic is underrated.
Well, you're asking how I would set this list, not who's the most underrated player in basketball. If you're going off what they did, Rollins is a great choice. I think Tyson's right in that conversation. Kamara is an absolute monster. He's got to be on the list. Peyton Watson's about to get paid. And A.J. Mitchell has been the Thunder third leading scorer without Jalen Williams. Part of the reason they haven't fallen off is A.J. Mitchell, who, by the way, was a second-round pick last year and is averaging 16.5 points
Very quickly, what does he project in terms of a contract?
Tyson?
Yeah.
Jaylen?
Oh, yeah. This is getting tricky.
$20 million plus.
He's gonna
Per.
He's got a couple years left before they re-up it.
But that,
It's gonna be. He's gonna get paid.
That's
If he
a good
keeps
problem.
playing like this, he's got to keep
Good
going.
problem to have. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back for our final segment of the show, the World Baseball Classic is about to get underway, and Mike, in his infinite insanity, has a problem with the best pitcher in baseball. We'll get to that next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on WKYC Channel 3 and the WKYC app. Guys, let's send this to Mike, because Mike, the World Baseball Classic, which I and many other baseball fans poo-pooed when it first started, but I'm into it now. It ended the last time with Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout. It was very exciting. There's a lot of loaded teams for this tournament, including Team USA.
I forgot about that, actually. Yeah.
Team USA is really good. Dominican Republic. Cuba will have a competitive team. Japan's really good. Puerto Rico, although a lot of their players are ineligible. There's a lot of really, really good teams in this. But Mike has a beef with the best player, the best pitcher in baseball. Go ahead, Mike.
I do. Skubal, who lefty. I'm a lefty. Cy Young winner.
You're not a Cy Young winner?
No, but I know how to spell Cy Young, so we're basically the same person. He's only pitching in one game in the World Baseball Classic. He's going to pitch against Great Britain. Now, Skubal's entering a contract year.
Yes.
He's in line to become the highest paid starting pitcher and left-handed pitcher ever. So He says he's going to pitch just one game. And I believe that is due to his agent saying, don't screw it up. Don't hurt yourself. It's not worth it in the long run. And while I totally agree with that sentiment, I have an issue with Skubal just dipping his toe in the water here. If you're going to be part of Team USA, go be part of Team USA. Go try and bring back the gold, just like we saw with the U.S. Olympic men's and women's hockey team. You can't be part in and part out. You either got to be all the way in or all the way out. And I do have an issue with Skubal coming in just to pitch one game. If they win, he's going to get the gold medal. He's going to say he can do it. No. You're either part of the team or you're not. I don't like people and players, especially a best player, being half in and half out. And if he said, I can't risk it, I need to be as healthy as possible, I'd have 100% respect for that decision. I don't like the fact that he's just dipping his toe in and then bowing out and letting the guys on the rest of the roster fight for the gold.
Are you guys going to take this? Are you just going to take it, man?
Go ahead, Jason. You start.
Number one, they can change the roster. So it's not like they're wasting a roster spot. They can change the roster after each round. Number two, it's highly dangerous for these pitchers to ramp up to 100% at this stage.
That's crazy.
That's the danger with the World Baseball Classic for pitchers more so than
Yes.
players, is you're really exposing yourself to injuries when you're going full speed. These guys, there's a reason why they gradually, I think the reason why they are spring training is so long, it's not for the hitters. Yeah. It's for the pitchers, so that they can ramp up and build up and slowly build their way so that they're ready to go for opening day. And the World Baseball Classic forces you to go 0 to 100 much quicker. And with all of the contract things that you just talked about, yes, you take whatever Skubal you can get. I'm a little bit surprised he's pitching at all. I would say no, I'm not doing it all because I'm not risking what's about to come.
Yeah.
I give him credit for being a part of it at all.
That's what I'm saying.
This is
if I were him, I'd sit. I wouldn't do it.
You can't compare this to any sport and any other situation. The hockey players playing the Olympics, it's the middle of their season.
Yes.
Right.
Okay? And Tarik Skubal is going to get the biggest contract ever for a pitcher. You can't – he's already taking a risk. Guys are not – This is not like pitching in a spring training game. You've got to be lathered up in a different way. A guy pitching in this, he's going to have that regular season mentality at least.
And on top of that, Bull, you got to look at it. When your country is on the line, you playing in these atmospheres. These atmospheres are electric.
Yeah.
So it isn't going to be like, oh, let me just throw 60%. When he out there throwing, he throwing.
I know. And Mike, your take is ridiculous.
Then save it for a game that's not against Great Britain. He's saying, I'll go pitch against the absolute nobodies who are going to beat by 50 anyway. Like, save it for the gold
They're not going to beat
them
them by 50. Let's not get carried away. This is not
basketball.
the NBA. All right. And number two, like, there's a lot of good pitchers for America. They have plenty of pitchers to fill the gaps.
Yes.
We'll see you next week on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Peace.